What's going on there, guys? Welcome back to the Scale Garage. This is kind of a part of the Winnebago build. You saw in the last installment, we got it all rolling. I almost had it running and I broke the transmission. The output on it snapped off when I was trying to turn it to check the mesh of the pinion gear, which is obviously too tight. So I'm back to the drawing board on transmission. I still haven't ordered anything. I can't find exactly what I'm looking for. I really don't want to use that style transmission since I've already got a broken one now. So, in the meantime, I got this box today from Asia Tees. I picked up a Team Raffee, Team Raff, however you say it. I don't know. One of their 1/10 scale double axle car trailers. And I saw these out at the expo down in Florida. I should have bought it there, but I wasn't sure yet. I hadn't built the Winnebago yet. And yeah, you know. But I think RC Addict had them out there for sale. So I actually got to put my hands on one and see it. And I think it worked pretty well for what I'm wanting to do. So I picked one up off Asia Tees. It was about the cheapest you could find around with shipping and everything. It was still about the same price RC Addict has them for. But they got it here in 2 days, which was impressive from all the way across the ocean. But let's get this thing opened up. I've already taken a peek in here, but haven't really unboxed it yet. We've got tires and wheels. We've got lights and hitches and fenders, front of the trailer. And we've got the bulk of the trailer here. Actually pretty nice quality filling. Looks pretty scale. And we've got our ramps. The ramps actually do slide underneath it, which is nice. I've been wanting a trailer forever. Since RC 4-wheel drive came out with their big dog trailers. And I just could never bring myself to spend quite that much. They're still over $200. And every time I would actually go to do it, they'd be out of stock on the 1/10 scale. And I didn't want to go with the larger one because it just wouldn't fit my builds right, obviously. But that was another thing, you know, you're pulling, what do we got to pull? I could have pulled it with the Blazer. It probably would have looked alright, but I don't have a Blazer right now. Hilux, pulling a big old trailer with the rat rod on it, you're not going to see that. Rat rods are not super heavy, but Hilux is not a well-known towing machine, so. But now we got the Winnebago, and Winnebagos can pull some trailers, so. Let me get everything opened up here and we'll take a closer look. Alright guys, so got everything laid out. I like how they have the hardware with each component, so it's not all just in one big bag mixed up and you gotta sort through it. Everything is kind of where it goes. So far, the quality of it seems pretty nice. It's not flimsy or anything sketchy at all. It feels very solid. Even the railing is pretty thin. The fenders are decent. Nice gauge, not too thin, not too thick. So yeah, instructions are nice and in color, which is really cool. So I'm gonna get started. guys, so wasn't quite as simple to put together. The wiring's the biggest pain. Just trying to run the pre-made wires and LEDs down through the inside of this C channel. It sets a little tall. It's going to need to be lower. We need to lower the trailer. The fenders have 2 mounting locations, and they are on the higher setting, and there's still a lot of gap here. There's quite a bit of room between the axle. The back where the ramps are, that could be a problem. Could get it another 1/4 inch lower with some spacers, but I'm afraid that's going to be it. But the lights work. It has 2 settings. Off is the middle, left is on. Right sometimes blinks fast, sometimes it doesn't. It was working a little earlier, and then it wasn't working, and then it was working. But overall, the trailer's alright. It's got to be lower. That looks too funny. I did a couple little things here to the Winnebago. I haven't put a hitch on it yet because I don't know where the height is that the trailer is going to be. But take a look at this. Right now the trailer is just sitting on the bumper. It is off the ground in the front. The Winnebago is squatting quite a bit, but it's giving me about the right height I'm looking for. This is why I didn't put shocks on it. Because this thing's rolling around, it's going to wobble and shake wildly like a real one would. Because those things are very top heavy. I think it's going to work. We got my USTE, sorry, it's been a long day at work. USTE 19 plate, Florida license plate. And, not sure if you can see that. So I got this sticker from JS Scale. It says, "Jesus is my airbag." Kind of fits the theme of things. I think I'd like to put some more stickers on the back of the Winnebago. That seems like a thing people have always done. But yeah, now we got to look at lowering this trailer a little bit. I can raise the fenders up, and I don't think I'll have to really, because I'm not going to be able to get enough lowering. The only issue I have is how wide it is. And I know that's common with these because it's designed to carry RC cars, which are typically wide. This rat rod build barely fit here in the back tires. Number 3 rat rod would not fit. The back axle is wider than this one, so couldn't carry that one, and it's not long enough for the number 2, but I think we can carry this one as well as the farm truck. Should be able to carry the farm truck. Yeah, no problem there. Farm truck fits pretty well. I think the other one looks better though. Fills it out a little more. But yeah, it'll still haul normal stuff as well, so we can throw the buggy on the back, the sand scorcher, or I guess you could even fit a crawler on there. Let's take a look. I'll bring down my flat tire TF2. See what we can do. Oh yeah, fits perfect. So we could even take a crawler out to the off-road park if we wanted. We still got suspension in the rear. Got lots of wobble on the Winnebago. But before I work up a hitch, I've got some ideas for what I want to do for a trailer hitch. But if we're going to lower the trailer here, this moves so we can bring that down at least there. Then this can either be straight, or we can flip it up, put the hitch high on the bumper or below the bumper. It's all going to depend on how the trailer's going to sit. So, as much as I don't want to, I'm going to take those axles back off that trailer and see about adding some spacers. Alright guys, I think we're ready to ride. So I had another one of those transmissions in an older project. I had to borrow that one. I was hoping to find a R2 transmission from RC 4-wheel drive, but everyone that I know that has one, it's broken. So, and you can't really get parts for them anymore. So I made some mounts for this. You saw me, the aluminum pieces that bolt to the transmission mount are old semi-truck chassis pieces. They're for an extension kit that you can buy on eBay. It's just some scrap aluminum I had around. The holes were in the right spot, so I used it. Used some aluminum angle and mounted those to the floor of the truck. And everything is perfect. We still have our adjustability. The input shaft on the semi-truck transmission is designed for a different style of drive shaft. So I had to grind down the end of the drive shaft. It had a lip on it, and it gave me enough surface area to bite. So it works. Pinion angle's not great, but it's not going to be a problem, I don't think. This is going to be a low-speed rig, so not super worried about it. We've got two RC 4-wheel drive plastic fuel tanks. One has the ESC in it, one has a receiver. We've got our switch here in the middle. I used a Jalon 2 aluminum battery tray with straps. It's easy. Just bolted it down with some spacers so the straps have room underneath to move around, and we can tighten it up and hold the battery in. Everything is down low. The center of gravity on this should be fantastic. Not that we're going to be doing any high-speed cornering, but I'm thinking it's going to work. I probably need to add some way to secure the battery wire here, because it does go right underneath the drive shaft. But not too worried about it right now. It's going to be a test drive. So the trailer hitch, the actual hitch itself, it came with the TFL Racing Bronco that I got from Banggood. And I was hoping to reuse some of its mounting stuff, but it just wouldn't jive with this. I drilled some holes down here in the floor that I ended up not using. So, oh well. It's pretty janky. I mean, I just had this scrap piece of sheet metal laying around, and it happened to fit the curve of the bumper. I trimmed it up a little bit, bolted it with scale bolts through the metal body, and then made this little plate to bolt to the hitch itself, and bolted that through the rubber bumper. Now, it gives a little bit of flex, and it was not going to work. I drilled a hole through this skinny little piece of metal where the Tonka truck trailer hitch was, and drilled it all the way through the TFL hitch itself, and bolted it. So it's pretty stout. I mean, I'm not going easy on it here. If I really hammered on it, I could probably bend it down, but all it's going to do is bend that stuff. And that's what's great about this old Tonka trucks. You get them and they're damaged and dented and stuff, you can hammer it back out. It's tough steel. So let's flip this thing back over and take a look at the interior without the interior. You can see all of the hardware, all the stuff I've had to mount to this chassis, or this body. I kept everything, the button heads, because I'm trying not to get into my interior space. The battery mount is the only thing that has the nuts on the inside. I'm hoping that doesn't cause any interference, but I really couldn't put the nuts on where they're poking into the battery, because that would have been a hazard. So yeah, the next step is to throw the interior in, and then we can put the roof panel on, and we can reinstall our header panel here. I still have those screws somewhere. And yeah, hook up the trailer and take it outside. Alright guys, so that was pretty much a success. It was actually a lot more capable than I thought it would be. It took the gravel as well as you'd expect, but it didn't break, and didn't flip, and it didn't actually wobble around a whole lot. My rat rod here, the grill, is not permanently attached, and it kept flipping under like that, so you'll see that in some of the driving video, but I just had it held on with some scale bungee cords in the front. It didn't really go anywhere. The only issue I had was the neck of the trailer kept coming loose, so I got to figure out a way to get that tighter. I did put a nut on the inside, but it just wouldn't quite hold. So, moving on, this thing actually works. It's got a good amount of wobble. It'll spin the tires, but it won't go too fast that it'll flip and jack up the trailer and all that. Let's take a look underneath. Everything's working well. I had some issues with the steering. That servo does have a bare spot on the wire, and it is a little glitchy, but it's the only one I had at the time, so we'll make do. Scratched up the bumper pretty good, dragging across the gravel road. But I don't see anything damaged. The leaf springs are all still where they need to be. The battery did slide forward, but it got caught by our front suspension mount, so our rear suspension mount of the front. So that worked out pretty well. We got some rock damage here on the electronics boxes, so they're doing their job. No real marks on the motor or transmission. Everything looks good there. The pinion angle didn't really affect anything. It didn't have any bad vibration. The drive shaft is still intact and looks good. The hitch and everything held up. It hasn't bent or moved at all. So I thought I was a little bit overkill, but seems like it worked out alright. Not sure if everybody caught that, but I did install the axial spare parts tree bull horns on the front, and I committed all the way. I drilled holes and mounted it with screws. I didn't just tape it on. That's been on the Scale Garage wall for a couple years now. I painted it up a long time ago, and I just hadn't found the right thing to put it on. And since everything's out of the Scale Garage still, I thought, what the hey? I think it looks pretty cool. This thing just has a nice style to it. What else? Earlier in the video, I put on the USTE 19 Florida license plate. I did lose one of my faded out tail lights. I did replace the headlights. I forgot to mention that. I don't have any of these. These are a newer style snap-in plastic light for the Tonka trucks. All the stuff I have is for the 50s and 60s and some early 50s. And these are 60s to 70s style, late 60s, all 70s pretty much. So I bet I can find some on eBay. I did not have any taillights at all, so the part that snaps into the hole is a little bit smaller on these than the older ones. Less durable. That's why they're faded and cracked and falling out now. But we'll find some. And I've got the plate, just two-sided taped on. And these plates are super nice, fully embossed. You can feel the letters in it just like a real one. Jesus is my airbag sticker. I picked that up from JS Scale at USTE. They've got quite a bit of entertaining window stickers for your RC vehicles. But it's complete. I tried to keep it as simple as possible. No extra frills, no added weight of chassis and just unnecessary stuff. This whole thing is made of steel, and I wanted to show an easy way to do it. Get outside the box. It doesn't have to be as legit as the rat rods with the frame rails and all that. It's strong enough to handle it all. The front axle narrow still rubs a little bit at full lock, but just barely. And I can control that pretty well with my steering techniques with it. So yeah, I do want to deck out the interior a little more. I need to find some more ratty style things we can do to it. So any ideas on that, comment below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share, and follow along on Instagram and Facebook. And yeah, keep it scale. I'll see you on the next video.